Getting to Port Canaveral for a Disney cruise sounds simple until it's embarkation morning and you're worried about timing, luggage, and whether you pick the wrong transportation option. We've been there.
We've used on-site port parking, private transportation, and Disney's ground transfers, and today we're comparing them honestly so you can avoid common mistakes and start your cruise calm instead of stressed, especially if this is the first time you're cruising out of Port Canaveral.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Chris.
I'm Carrie.
We've gone on 7 Disney cruises.
I was actually just the other day like, how many have we been on? Yeah, it's 7.
I was about to say 8. We've been on 8 cruises, one with Royal Caribbean, but Disney is our main choice when it comes to cruising.
Yep, and we've brought our 2 daughters with us. They are teenagers now, and we love cruising as a family.
We're going to talk a lot more about that, but we want to get this kind of disclaimer out of the way is that prices and availability changes over time. So make sure you always do your own research.
Definitely, but it is really good to know that there are multiple options available for you.
One of the things that is really important to keep in mind before we dive into all the different ways you can get to the port and our experience using some of those is the day before you cruise, how you spend that day can really make or break your embarkation day.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you flying into the Orlando area? Are you going to be at a park the day before? Are you just going to be at your hotel the day before? Whatever you're doing, it's always important to keep in mind that you want to make sure you have enough margin in that day before your embarkation day to get ready so that when you wake up on your embarkation day, you wake up and everything is ready to go. You don't have to pack up the last minute, which can be easy to do if you have a full park day the day before you cruise. Option number 1 we want to highlight is parking at the terminal, at the port terminal at Port Canaveral. Right now, parking is listed at $20 a day. For us, it was really good because it gave us a lot more control and it was so much more convenient to be able to park there, drive there on our own time. So when you drive a car to the port terminal and park there, really you drive up to the port, you drop off your luggage, and I think there's a porter there.
Oh, yeah.
And you bring some money to give them a tip, drop your luggage off, drive in the parking garage, you park your car, go down the elevator if you need to, and you walk across the street where you get in line for your port arrival time group. And then you wait until they call you and then you go in. It's really simple.
And just like any other option, you're going to keep your carry-on luggage with you. Anything that's going to go through security, you keep that with you. But before you drive in your car, like you said, you just give all of your luggage that you're not carrying on to the porter.
When we got off the ship, the car was right there and we could
really nice.
Walk straight to the car and head to whatever we were doing after the cruise. It's the most convenient and it gives you the most flexibility as far as, especially if you need that flexibility if you have a family.
I think another reason it was really good for us is because we were able to keep our luggage in the car after the cruise because we had a night flight home. And so we didn't want to be at the airport all day. So we had our luggage in the car and then it was secure. Yeah.
And I think after that, we went to Disney property somewhere, a resort, or we did something at Disney Springs or something like that to hang out before our late flight home. Another option if you're renting a car is there are car rental returns at the port there, but you do need to go drive to that separate location. It's not at the port terminal. You can drop off your car there and then they have shuttles that will take you to your port terminal.
Yeah.
We didn't do that, but you can if you want.
Well, we did rent a car after once.
We did.
That is good to know that you can take one way in and another way out.
The next option, which we referenced a little bit earlier, is a private transfer. And there are many, many ways to do this. You don't have to get a limo like we did. When we did this, I actually ordered a limo. I thought it was a really basic limo. They gave us a ginormous, Humvee limo. It wasn't a Humvee. It was a huge SUV limo. And I was shocked and pleasantly surprised.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you'll get a chance to go back and watch that video.
So, best way to start a cruise?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get used to it. Because that was our first time on the Fantasy that we've been looking forward to forever.
Yeah, first time cruising out of Port Canaveral.
Our cruise had gotten canceled because of COVID and we've been waiting forever. And so our girls were so surprised.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
This is probably going to be the most expensive option. So keep that in mind. But this is really good if you have a larger group because a rental car may not fit your whole group.
And your luggage.
And a Disney transfer may not be the best option because that can get a little bit pricey if you have a really large group.
Yeah.
So for us, it was just the 4 of us. We just want to do something a little bit special, like Carrie said. You can get a shuttle bus. you can rent your own shuttle bus, you can get a limo, that you can get just a basic like town car. So lots of different ways. I think the company we went with was called Happy Limo, and our experience with them was great. So we'd be happy to recommend them, and we'll put a link in the description for their services. And they're based in Orlando, I believe. So that one-time experience, it was super fun. I don't know if we'd ever do that again.
Probably not. To be honest, all of the options are expensive. And
They are.
That's the frustrating part, and why I think it's good to compare, because I remember the first time we were trying to figure this out, we're like, there has to be a better option as far as cost. So that's why we've tried all these different things.
Yeah, and the great thing about this one is you bypass like stopping by at other stops. They pick you up where you're at your hotel, most likely, and they take you straight to the port. It's so convenient, so easy, but you do pay for it.
Yeah. And if you are in the limo, you can watch, something like The Incredibles and just have that exciting experience.
Definitely. One other point about the private transfer, it probably was the calmest experience we've ever had for an embarkation morning getting to the port. I felt like it was, because we literally just walked out of our hotel and we got in and they drove us, and it was so easy. Driving there adds a little bit stress to it. When we rented a car, we've also done Disney Transfer. That was easy, but there was a little bit of effort you had to put into it. We had to drop off the rental car at the airport. We had to find where we were going in the airport to find the Disney area to meet in. The multiple steps. Not saying it was negative. Any other type of transportation was negative. I feel like it was just really easy.
Especially for getting there ahead of time and staying in a hotel and then going.
Yes.
Because I think if you had flown in and then taken the transfer from the airport, it would have, we wouldn't have had all those complicated steps.
Yeah. And so we'll speak to the Disney Transfer in a moment. The easiest form of Disney Transfer probably will be if you're staying at a Disney resort at Disney World, or if you're staying at the MCO Grand Hyatt, the hotel in the airport in Orlando. And so both of those experiences, taking Disney Shuttle, Disney Ground Transfer, would be very easy. But we didn't do it that way. We decided, we had a car rental the last time we went to Orlando, and we stayed at a hotel for a week. It wasn't a Disney resort. So we decided to try the other way to take a Disney ground transfer to Port Canaveral, which was taking it from the airport. So we parked our rental car, turned it in on the bottom level where I think it's the rental car level of the airport at MCO. It's over by the Mears transportation area. But we walked over there and they had a nice old man with a little Mickey plush, like waving his hand. It was really cute. It was pretty obvious where we were supposed to go once we saw that. And it was so simple. I think, checked in, and they actually did our check-in right there. We didn't have to do the check-in at the port at all.
That was the best part of it.
That made it super simple.
Honestly, I thought that was pretty simple. I loved that we just got there, waited, got on the bus, and then, and there was another great benefit to that.
What's that?
We were boarding group 1.
Yes. And by the way, that's never guaranteed. You could be boarding group 3. You could be boarding group 5. You could be boarding group 1 like we were. There's never a guarantee of what boarding group you'll get when you take Disney Transportation. But odds are, if it's one of the earlier shuttles, you'll get an earlier boarding group. And that's how it works. The great thing about taking Disney Transportation or the ground transfer is it doesn't matter what port arrival time you get when you do your online check-in at a time. That goes out the window. You show up, and whenever your bus, your shuttle, Disney shuttle gets you to the port, they literally just kind of give you a boarding group and you're ushered right in. You don't have to go through check-in, nothing. You just go up the escalator to that amazing port terminal. You
alluded to this, but didn't say it directly, is you give them your luggage before you get on the bus.
Yeah.
And you don't see it again until you're on the ship. It just shows up
in your room.
At your stateroom.
Exactly.
So that is another really nice thing.
Yeah. And one of these days, I think we'll probably end up doing the MCO Hyatt, the hotel in the airport, and we'll try that out too. Since we've never experienced it, all we can speak to is how we use the Disney shuttle service.
And it's pretty similar. I mean, the difference is showing up at the airport with our rental car or showing up at the airport because you stayed in the hotel. I think it's a slightly different process, but it's almost the same.
Yeah, so there's two different, and not a lot of people necessarily know this, there's two different ways you can take Disney Transportation, the Disney Ground Transfer transportation to the port from MCO, the Orlando airport, to Port Canaveral. And we did it where we didn't stay at the hotel in the airport. So there's two different ways. And if you're confused, you're like, oh, I never heard that before. There's a lot of different ways you can look it up. You can ask your questions in the comments. Please do, because we'd love to help you in any way we can. There's so many resources out there. And if you have a travel agent, they will be able to walk you through all of it, which makes it so much easier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The travel agent can get you hooked up with all of this when you're using the Disney transportation.
Exactly. And so if you don't want to do research, you don't want to figure this out on your own, go with a travel agent. They are the best.
Yeah. One of the reasons we waited to do the last one we did was the ground transfer from Disney. First we did the limo, then we did the rental car, and it was just because it seemed expensive.
Yeah.
But once we did it, we're like, that was worth it.
Yeah.
It at least when you spend some money, it feels worth it.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably going to be our default option going forward because it is so easy. If we didn't mention this, if you have a travel agent, you would book the Disney ground transfer through your travel agent. And if you're not using a travel agent, I believe you book it through the Disney Cruise Line website or the Navigator app. There are a few different ways you can book that, but if you're not using a travel agent, do it through their website or the app, and there are options there. You can look it up. But it's so simple. It's so easy. That probably is the one that we would recommend if it makes sense, again, for your trip, for your size group that you're traveling with. So I want to give a couple of quick honorable mentions. We haven't taken these, but I know that these are available. They typically tend to be available. The first one would be like rideshare or taxi. That's good if you are a little bit closer probably to the port. You could take a ride share like a Lyft or Uber from the Orlando area. You want to check to see what the cost might be though. Also, Port Canaveral has a transportation page, like the official website for Port Canaveral, where you can look up options like shared shuttles. There are other companies out there that do that where you share a shuttle. It's going to pick up multiple parties. So it may take a little bit more time to get to the port. So you got to keep that in mind. And if you're going to do that, make sure you check in with whatever company you're using to get a realistic idea of, how long it's going to take, when you should be ready, all those kind of things. And then finally, there is another option. Again, we've never used it, but off-site parking, where you can park near the port, maybe at a hotel or somewhere else in that Port Canaveral area, but not at the port. And then usually if there's parking where you'll pay to keep your car parked there, they'll also have a shuttle to get you to the port. Just a couple of the options that we want to mention. Those do exist. Again, do your research. If you have a travel agent, talk to them about all the options that are out there. There are so many different ways you can get there.
All the different kinds of transportation that we have chosen to take, we've enjoyed. We thought it worked out great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of you have been on a Disney cruise out of Port Canaveral. So let us know in the comments, how did you get there? What is your preferred way to get to Port Canaveral?
Yeah, and if you are watching this because you're doing your own research, because maybe this is your first Disney cruise, make sure you leave any questions you have in the comments. We'd be happy to do our best to answer. Maybe if you're watching this and you're a veteran Disney cruiser, you can answer some of the questions in the comments that people leave as well. And if we don't know the answer, we'll try to point you in the right direction.
Yeah. Are we going to link our embarkation from the Treasure, Wish, and the Fantasy? So the 3 we've taken out of Port Canaveral.
Yeah, we'll link all those embarkation videos below. That way you can kind of get an idea of what those experiences were like.
Be sure to subscribe. We love to share our adventures with you guys. We have some Disney stuff coming up in the future, and just other fun stuff that we love to share. Like this video if it was helpful for you, and thank you so much for watching.
Well, take care, and we'll see you guys again really soon. Bye.
Bye.